so.
We've stayed at eco resorts.
Yes.
Well, I think we should talk about what an eco resort is, what you can do or see, or what does that even mean?
Right. It really depends on where you go, and it's not like, by country or anything. Costa Rica has some great eco resorts. We have not been to Costa Rica yet, but we have been to one in Mexico.
Yeah?
Both were in Mexico, actually.
Yeah,
One
we
was
like
on
Mexico. We go there a lot.
Yeah. One was on the Pacific side. That was a true eco resort.
Yes.
The one over in Chetumal, near the Belize border, was an eco resort, but not really.
Yeah.
So what does it mean?
Yeah.
We went to our first one.
Well, can I interrupt?
Yes, of course.
An eco resort doesn't mean anything. It
Right.
could mean it's a marketing term. It could mean to whoever's decided that's what they've got going on, then that's what they're going to call it. Generally, it means that they're more environmentally conscious than your standard resort. Maybe they have a recycle program, or they're reducing plastics, or they're not using insecticides or herbicides, or this kind of thing.
Correct. It does not mean they don't have air conditioning, although it can mean that.
Yes.
So the two we've been to were very opposite of each other.
They were. Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. Our first day, unfortunately, it's not there anymore. Their 20-year lease was up, and they couldn't afford the new lease. Majahuitas was just south of Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. No roads. There were no roads to this location. Right. You got there by boat. So they would pick you up off of a dock in the south end of Puerto Vallarta, and you would take a boat out. And they would just land it on the beach and pull your stuff off. And there was virtually no electricity.
Right, they used a generator.
They used a generator at night to light up the main building, and it was far enough away you really didn't hear it. It was super quiet. You had a little tiny electric fan that was
battery operated.
I think it was
solar.
Maybe even solar, right? So it would go on, and it's pretty warm. You've been doing all this stuff, and so you're going to bed, and the fan is nice, and by the morning it's cool enough, you're fine. But
yeah, it was really a great experience. It was something that made me want to try an eco resort again, because it was very romantic. No lights, all candlelight at night, candlelit paths.
Yeah, and you don't have four walls.
Oh, right, they were open air casitas.
Yeah, so you have your back wall and one half side wall, one full side wall, out to a nice balcony that overlooked the water and the beach. That was really nice. And then your shower, you would walk out the side of the building, and they had it,
surrounded
fenced off
by boulders.
Yeah, so you weren't open to the ocean, but it certainly was outdoors. So.
But it was a flush toilet. It had running water in the sink, and the shower had running water. It wasn't like an outhouse or something like that. It was actually very comfortable.
Yes, and it was very nice. It was lovely you could sit in bed and you're looking out through some trees at the ocean. It was beautiful.
It was really pretty. The downside of that experience was there was no air conditioning. We were there in October because there was no power. And it was very, very, very hot. So it was difficult to get comfortable at night for sleeping purposes.
Yes.
And the other thing was because the bathroom was exposed to, it was outside essentially. I mean, I was greeted on our first night by a fairly sizable crab in the bathroom.
Yeah.
He and I both were a little scared. And then later on by a fairly sizable boa constrictor that was looking for a drink in the shower.
Right.
So,
she came running out of the shower, big snake, big snake. And I'm thinking, okay, there's, a little gardener's thing. And I went out there and I'm like, whoa. It was a good 5-6 foot boa constrictor. So.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to have anything to do with us. He was just like, okay. He's moving slow. He's a snake, but he kind of turned around and headed off. He's like, okay, there's people here and we like them.
Yeah. I'm glad he left. That made me more cautious every time I went into the bathroom.
Yeah. So, and yeah, you have bugs, although they weren't excessive here by any means.
You know, I think maybe because it was on the coast. I
Yeah.
mean, definitely the Sierra Madre mountain range was behind.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why there were no roads, because there was jungle mountains behind.
Yeah.
But I think because you're on the beach, it's probably less buggy.
Yeah.
Then I'm sure if you went in to the
Oh,
jungle,
yeah, of course, yeah.
a foot or two,
Yeah.
it would be very full of bugs.
Yeah. But it was a great stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have shade and
Lounge
chairs to lay on, and there was snorkeling off to one side, and they had manta rays swimming by, but as soon as you got close to the water, they would leave, so you couldn't be in the water with them. But the fish were there. They had some dogs on site that were great.
Yeah.
They loved to swim. They loved to go out on the surfboard and kayak. So
Conversely, or in contrast,
Right.
our experience in Chetumal was, and I don't, what was the name of the hotel at Cohen Leach?
Explorean.
Explorean.
Right.
Now, we went down there because we wanted to rest and relax, and we also wanted to go see some ruins, so we were able to do both.
Yes. They had daily outings. Well, first let's describe the resort. You go in, you know, massive open-air building in the beginning, has the bar, has the lounge chairs where you can sit in the shade with the fan over, has a pool that was probably 25 yards long, maybe 8
Feet.
yards wide.
Yards.
Yeah, it was a long pool.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
long. It was kind
okay.
of short, and
I'll accept that.
I'll show you a picture. In fact, you'll see Sally kind of sitting in the lounge chair there. Again, it's pretty warm, so I don't know if we ever went in the pool. We had a couple of days, it poured rain, just, it poured rain. But, so, and then we had probably, 50 yards hike to our room? Not hike, but
It was a trail, and it had
Cement.
tiles, or it was paved or something like that.
Yeah.
It had low lights
right.
in the evening, and I think they might have been solar-powered lights that were along the trail, or no, they probably weren't because they were inside the concrete
Yeah.
wall there. And you did definitely have to walk back into the jungle a little ways to get to your guest room.
Right.
At this particular resort, the guest room had lighting and it had air
Had
conditioning.
air conditioning, yeah.
What they didn't do is spray with pesticides, and I don't think they used herbicides to control the weeds. I think they just groomed the
Right, yeah. And there were bugs.
yeah.
There was the grasshopper that touched Sally's foot.
It was very big.
Yes.
And it felt like somebody whacked my foot with a stick. It was heavy.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It was
Yeah.
a big one.
I mean, it was good.
I feel
3.5, 4
justified in my
inches.
shriek.
Yes. And then we were walking up for dinner one night, and the spider, at least 4 inches across. I mean, it was just
Almost
huge.
the size of a CD, but a little bit smaller.
Yeah. No, that's not its
A
body.
coaster
That's
size.
with its legs and everything. The body was only a quarter size. But Sally saw it, high steps, screamed, ran about 10 feet, and then turned around and says, "Don't you leave me over here." And I'm looking at the spider. I'm waiting for it to do something. And what I felt like is it's looking at me like, what is this huge dude going to do? So I stepped to the right. He took off to his right. He was in the bushes so fast. So he just wanted to get out of there too. So none of the bugs were attacking. The only thing they ever had happen there, they said a jaguar came in and got up. You have little patios that have a hammock and chairs to sit on outside, and they said one of the jaguars got up over the top of that. There's some
Lattice.
yeah, and he was just hanging out. So a jaguar has never attacked a human on record. So, I mean, you're not food to them. So they called the front desk and they said, you're just going to have to wait. It'll go away. So, and it did. And an hour later it left. So we did not get the opportunity to see a jaguar. I thought that would have been fun as long as we were inside.
The thing is that you should keep in mind is really do your research first, because if you're
Right.
if you're not down with maybe less than pristine landscaping, if you prefer not to be in a super, or not a super, but a buggy environment, a place that doesn't use pesticide, you know, that might be something to consider before deciding to select an eco resort.
Yeah. If it truly is an eco resort, they are going to try to go for minimum impact on the surrounding area.
Right.
So, I mean, it doesn't mean they're not comfortable, although it can mean that. So, all the reviews will tell you. Majahuitas, I had friends that went down there, loved it, told me all about it. So I knew it was, you know, rustic and unair conditioned. I still loved it.
Oh yes, I loved it too.
Yeah.
But we had the opportunity to book at an eco resort when we were in central southern Yucatan, outside of Ishpuhil, or in around Ishpuhil. And I thought, after our last eco resort experience with all the bugs, I just wasn't up for it. I was like, nope, that's just not for me. I don't want to be in the jungle. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of bugs.
Yeah.
Not that I like pesticides.
But you're in a hotel, you're not in the jungle. So we were, you know, our hotel was right off the main road. You know, once the town is built out a little bit, you have less creatures. It's just the way it
We
is.
didn't stay there, so I don't know what it's like. It's probably delightful,
Yeah.
but it just didn't sound like something I was up for. Would I go to an eco resort again? It depends. I would really do my research, because I actually don't care for the resorts that use a ton of pesticides. And we've been to those, and it can be very off-putting. All the aroma of the pesticides, the impact of the pesticides
Yeah.
or the herbicides, it just seems unnecessary.
Yeah. The nicer resorts, you know, you can cut the jungle back or mow the lawns or do whatever you're going to do without using a lot of pesticides. So,
It's got to be very impactful to the wildlife in that area, I
Yeah.
imagine. But
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
another, you know, when you're thinking about travel, not everything is, I mean, sometimes travel's good for an economy, but there's downsides too.
Right.
Try to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Make good choices.
Yeah, the least amount of impact you can have while you travel, the better.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
So look at eco resorts. You know, stay in one. Make up your own mind.
Yeah,
So-
stay in one. It's always an adventure traveling.
Yes. I liked both of ours.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mexico in October, it's certainly nice to have air conditioning. But if you're there in December, it's probably a lot easier. It's not.
Yeah.
It's still warm, but it's not, you know, October warm. So
I
time
would-
of year
yeah.
makes a big difference too.
When we were down there and we were on the border of Belize, we went for a bike ride to the nearby Mayan ruins
Cohen Lynch.
at Cohen Leach,
Yeah.
and they were amazing. The bike ride there was a torrential downpour
Right.
at the beginning of our bike ride. After we were, you know, halfway there, we got absolutely drenched, and it wasn't a hot day by any means, but within 20-30 minutes we were completely dry.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, no big deal.
If you've ever been to Hawaii, it rains in the afternoon. 4 o'clock. It's going to rain for half an hour or an hour or whatever. So you just know the tropical places, it rains in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal. So
Can I say something else? If you go to some place that's advertising itself as an eco resort and you find that they're using a lot of disposable items, or they're using pesticides or herbicides, or they're not really doing anything that's very obviously eco, or they're doing things that obviously aren't, call them out. Make sure that you're writing a review on their website or on TripAdvisor or one of the other sites, or if you're blogging, let people know, because they shouldn't be marketing themselves as being eco-friendly if they aren't following at least some kind of standard eco-friendly policies.
yeah.
That's all I have to say on this matter.
Me too. I enjoyed both our stays. They were definitely different, and I'm sure every place you stay is different. But if they're going to use eco, yes, it should be eco.
I agree.
So
Thanks, Brad.
thanks, Al. Click like, subscribe, comment, whatever you would like. And thanks for watching.